So Agile in a nutshell, this poster, you're probably maybe seen that, maybe you've used it. It's, I don't know how many years now, it's 4 or 5 years old. I created it to use it in my coaching sessions. And for the first time with a class of student of around 20 people, I thought it was a good way to catch all the things that we wanted to talk about. So this is what I will walk you through today. And I've added in a couple of more things as well. So maybe you get some new ideas, even if you've used this before. So starting with, why do we want to work Agile? Why is this important? And if you would think about yourself going for a trip with your friends in the car, and you as a driver, of course, then you want to have a view of the road. You want to be able to make decisions on how to go to wherever you're planning on going. Maybe you're going for a nice lunch or a swim or on a holiday or something. You don't plan this trip in detail, right? You want to be able to maneuver the car in a safe and good way. So usually when we work in organizations, we make too many plans and maybe too detailed plans beforehand, before we have all the information that we need. So once we have the information, we want to be able to adapt the plan in a safe way. So having the goal and maybe the impact that we're looking for, we want to have fun with our friends, and we want to reach this place wherever we're going, maybe on time. So this might be important things that we want to take in consideration when making the plan. So maybe making sure that we have the right type of car and that we leave in the right time so that we can make it on time. These are maybe some of the prerequisites that we need to be able to go where we want to go. So this is why we want to work Agile, so that we can make a good detailed, or not too detailed plan, but more high level plan, and make new decisions along the way, so that we can handle the unknown. So when we're in the beginning of a big project, we might not have all the details at hand, and we could go out and understand a little bit more to see what are the things that we don't know. And these things in the two bottom circles are usually the things that normal processes and ways of working, traditional ways of working, are pretty good at handling these things that we know right now, and the things that maybe we could go out and figure out. But handling the unknown, that's where we really want to be Agile, to go out there and maybe as quickly as possible to get those understandings and learnings along the way. And to handle the ambiguity. So all these different views that we might have in the beginning, we're not really sure of what this new thing is that we're doing. We have to go out and figure out, we have to try different things, because all of us see different things in the beginning. This is also why we want to work in a way that we have an impact goal, and that we know maybe a couple of things that we would like to happen along the way, and we want to make it safe, we want to make it fun, or we want to have a couple of things that we know beforehand, but we don't really know how the solution is going to look. And to be VUCA robust. So having the capability to handle complexity and ambiguity and new things happening along the way, and high speed in the environment. And Agile means flexible and adaptive. So Agile really helps us to handle VUCA. So we're going to do an exercise. I hope everyone brought pen and paper with you. This is a business card game, and we're going to play this together. And if you show your videos and you can unmute yourself, we can also have a little bit of a dialogue here, if anyone would like to have that. So we have a mission. You are working in a business card development business. You're all experts in writing the name on a business card. So you're really, really good at this, right? And I am your customer, and the order is to write my business card with all my names. You can see them here: Eva, Maria, Madeleine, Kolmodin. So how long do you think it takes to write my name on a business card? Anyone who would like to give an estimation, and you can unmute yourself? I can see Anne. Do you have an estimate? How long would it take you to write my names?
34 seconds.
34 seconds. Okay, so that's a pretty
no
thorough
idea.
estimate. You have no idea. But maybe 34 seconds, who knows? And I would like, of course, all of you to have your timer ready to try this. So what you need to do, maybe have your phone and you set your timer to see how long it's going to take. So if you put that besides you and you have it open and ready to go, we can start. Okay, so 34 seconds, that's the estimate that we have. Are you ready? Pen, paper, timer. I only see Anna now, but she looks like, or Anna, looks like she's getting ready. Good. But we have this working policy. Of course, we have to make this really in a really good way. So we make some policies here. You have to write one letter at a time in each of these names. So one letter in Eva, one in Maria, one in Madeline, and one in Kolmodin. And then you start all over again. So this is a great policy we created together. Maybe you remember that since before. Okay, are you all right, Anna? Yeah, good. So have your time ready and let's go. See how long it takes. And when you're ready, please let me know. And I would love to see some of your results as well. It's been around 20 seconds now, I think. So do we have anyone who's ready? It's been around 30 seconds. Anyone ready?
Anna is ready, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Anna.
Okay, good. I don't really see that, but that's good. So how did it go? I would like to hear. Anyone who would like to share how it went?
It was difficult, and I will turn off my camera pretty soon.
Yeah, that's fine. How long did it take then?
31 seconds.
Oh, so it was quite quick. But how was the result? Was it good quality? No, bad
it's
quality.
Yes,
Oh,
it's not. It's
that's
not
terrible.
beautiful. Yeah.
No, it's not beautiful. And I bet
Sorry.
maybe you guys had the same result too. So if we change our way of working, that you decide how to do your work, so you can decide however you want to do this and to raise the quality and maybe to increase the speed rate. So try to do it a second round and see how that goes, and you can take the time too. So go. And let me know if you're done. We got Marika and Simon and Ebba. We got Agile 213 as well. Stefan, Daniel, maybe someone else can share how it went.
Stefan was very fast.
Okay, so he's done. How did it go?
Not to mention Anna. Wow, speedy.
Okay, so I see that in the chat now. So 11 seconds, from 27 seconds to 9 seconds for Simon. Good. And Stefan, yeah, 10 or almost 11 seconds. So really good. So now you've experienced going from traditional way of working towards agile way of working. You get to decide how to do it. You do one thing at a time and you don't do task switching. So an easy way to show how it works. And task switching is actually the number one risk that we have when planning our work and how long it will take. And a lot of times we ask people, how long is this going to take? And then maybe you give them 10 things to do at the same time, and they didn't know that beforehand. This is, of course, going to then take longer than what they thought in the beginning. So if we do 5 things at the same time, we only have 20% of our time that actually creates value. 80% is just task switching, which is just waste. So this is one of the things that we want to remove when working agile. So we're going to talk more about how this works. And of course, when we work with agile project planning, we do one project at a time, or one thing at a time, one piece of planning, and we work on that with focus, and we deliver much more often, right? So the traditional and agile ways of planning and thinking around creating value is very different. And the agile team, that's where everything happens. So the team is the only part of the organization, you could say, or piece of an organization that actually delivers value. Everything outside the team is just there to support and enable the team to become as quick and good as possible. And the agile team is based on values. So we have focus, where everyone focuses on the work of the sprint, which is a time box, and the goals of the agile team. So if we create a really good goal and we box it down to smaller time periods, we can focus on that, right? So we remove all the task switching. Encourage. So the team members have the courage to do the right thing and work on tough problems. So in an agile organization, we put problems on the team. We give them a problem to solve, a customer problem, or maybe an internal problem that we want to have solved as well. So the team can focus on solving important problems. And then openness. The agile team and its stakeholders agree to be open about all the work and the challenges with performing the work. So we have to have, of course, a secure environment. Psychological safety is very important, so that we can have this openness and that we can talk with everyone, and we can make maybe new decisions if we have these challenges, or we can support and get support to remove any impediments. And commitment. People personally commit to achieving the goals of the agile team. So this means that everyone in the team are committed to reach the goals. And of course, the team need to be able to plan and decide on how much they can take in and what is actually needed to reach these goals as well. And respect. Agile team members respect each other to be capable, independent people. So we treat each other as grown-ups and human beings who are taking responsibility for our own work and everything that we do. So these are the core values of an agile team. And what is the team? This is really, really important. A lot of times we might think that we have teams and that we are maybe treating them as teams, but they are not really teams. So in a team, we need each other to develop something, and we need to have a shared goal, a common goal. So up on the top right corner there, that's where we have the team that we talk about. And these teams can become high performing and deliver value. But the other types of teams that you might see there, that you might recognize, and you might call them teams, you cannot create high performing teams of those groups, but you can work in groups as well, but it might not create the type of value that we talk about here. So creating high-performing teams, this is something that's very, very crucial in an agile organization, and we spend a lot of time and effort into doing this. And we set up different ways of working with the teams and coaching them to be able to do this, to create the high-performing and mature teams that can work and continuously improve everything around them and within the product. So if you are maybe in one of the groups that we saw previously, you might have a lot of friction and you might not be able to innovate and maybe talk about things that are difficult or maybe solve difficult problems. So if you have the values in place and you work with creating high-performing teams and you keep them stable over time, 6 to 12 months, then you can create a high-performing organization as well. And most of the times we talk about teams that are around 5 to 7 people, maybe 5 to 9 people in an agile team, because then we have maybe enough people to be able to deliver on our goal, and we can still get to know each other, and we can create a safe environment. And we want to keep them together for as long as possible, maybe, and maybe change just the different goals of the team. So we can create a new mission for a team, but we don't want to just remove people from the team to join different types of missions as you would do in a traditional project-based organization. Agile ways of working. So waterfall, plan-driven development. Here we make a lot of decisions in the beginning, as we saw in the beginning there, and we plan all the way where we're going to drive the car and all the things that we want to do, all the turns, all the stops, all everything in the beginning. And these are very difficult decisions to make when we don't have enough information. But a lot of times that's what's happening in waterfall projects. And then we start to develop something and to be able to deliver on this big thing, because then we plan for everything, right? We add all the information in and everything that anyone would ever want ever in the future. And we create a lot of risk, because the risk increases for all the time that we work. So at the end, we might deliver something in a big bang, but we're not really sure that we're going to meet this mission that we set up, the goal that we had. So instead, we want to work agile. We want to deliver incrementally and iteratively and make decisions as late as possible. So in the beginning, we might make decisions on maybe who are the target customers, what are the most important problems that we want to solve. And when we move further ahead, we might slice it into smaller pieces, and we might decide, so how is this piece going to work? And we deliver that as soon as possible to get feedback. So in this way, we remove the risk, and we can work with much riskier projects or problems, I would say, and deliver incrementally and iteratively, and then maybe stop earlier than we thought instead of later, which usually happens in a plan-based way of working. So the waterfall approach, where we hand over things also in between different departments or groups in the organization, and at the end, maybe the last people doing their work, they have to spend maybe enormous amount of time to be able to make it work at all. And in the agile approach, we put everyone together in a team to be able to deliver, and we make sure that they can collaborate in a good way, and that we can have this build, measure, learn way of working instead. And we're going to look a little bit more into that. And we also use something called T-shape, where we grow the capabilities of individuals so that you can collaborate and work on what's most important for the team and for the organization right now. So instead of just having people being experts, we create more of a generalist approach where we can actually collaborate also in a better way. And we try to remove as many of the handoffs as possible, since this is where we lose the most information, which also means that in agile organization, we want to bring in all the experts to work in our teams, and also maybe bring in vendors and anyone else who works outside in maybe the ecosystem that we have created, so that we can take responsibility together and not do handoffs, because this, of course, costs a lot of money. And then we can work as cross-functional teams. So cross-functional team is where people, everyone who is needed to deliver value is included in the team, and not in different teams where we have just different capabilities. We want to have them all in the same team. And we talk about patterns and anti-patterns when we work agile a lot. And one anti-pattern is this called mini waterfall, which we can see on the left side, where we have people with different capabilities and skills, and they hand off their work to the next person in the line, just as a waterfall approach. This is an anti-pattern, which doesn't really work. So instead, we want to remove it. We want to have the team to focus on what's most valuable for the organization, for the team right now. So they actually work on maybe the same thing, and maybe join throughout the process of understanding the value and delivering it, creating the solution and taking care of it. So the T-shape thinking and pattern helps us to remove this anti-pattern behavior, and it increases the speed of the team with 100%, which is just great. And in many organizations, you might think that you're working agile and that maybe you also have cross-functional teams, but you might only work in one silo. So if you're working only one silo, you just have agile in one piece of the process, which doesn't really maybe help to create quicker deliveries and better quality. You're still doing handoffs a lot, right? And this happens a lot in many organizations, that we have pre-study and innovation work going on, for maybe 6 months or something, and then you hand over to the IT department or so, and they get 6 weeks to deliver and develop what the people plan for 6 months. So of course, this is not maybe what you're looking for when you think about working agile. Instead, you want to have teams that goes across the organization, and we want to have that on leadership levels too. We want to have executives working in agile cross-functional teams and solving problems for the organization together, as well as we want to have on mid-levels in the organization. So if everyone who is needed to develop value comes to a team, then we can work in an agile way as an organization, much more quicker with higher quality and better results. And to do that, we look for the handoffs, of course, and we eliminate waiting time. So where we have handoffs between departments or between groups or even teams in agile organizations, maybe you have teams that do handoffs and are dependent on each other. These are the kind of waiting times that you want to find and remove and bring those people into cross-functional teams instead. Then we minimize this lead time and we can deliver value much quicker to the customer. Of course, it might be that you need more teams than one to be able to deliver value. You might have 3 teams that works on a product or even more, but those teams should be cross-functional. They should be taking care of one thing that actually delivers value to the customer. And Agile's methods that are used, this is the Agile State Report. I think it's maybe 1 or 2 years old, but most teams and organizations, they work in Scrum, and Scrum is a really good framework, easy to get started with, very few rules, and it really helps to speed up and work in this way that we're talking about here. And in Scrum, we only have 3 roles that works in the team. We have the product owner who's responsible for maximizing the value from the team and also from the organization. We have the Scrum Master responsible for maximizing the flow from the team and the organization. And then we have the team members who works in the team who are responsible for the solution and also how they work, just in the experiment that we did together previously. So these 3 roles are designed to develop the best possible deliveries that could be done in the highest speed possible. And a lot of time you can speed up the deliveries a lot, maybe half the lead time or even more, and create much more innovative products. But of course, outside these teams, you might have other type of structures as well. We still have some kind of a management, right? We run the organization in different ways. These processes and ways of working and structures also need to be made agile. And using the same thinking really, really helps. So have a cross-functional leadership team helping to create flow for these Scrum teams, that really helps too. And also having executives working as cross-functional, maybe Scrum teams, that also creates a lot of value for the organization. Removing the hindering structures and everything that actually don't create value and creates handoffs and longer lead times. Those are the things that we want to remove. And ways of working in Scrum, you maybe have seen this before, so I'm not going to go into depth. And if you're super interested in learning more, you can of course find this online. But we have a set practices that we use when working as a Scrum team. We work in shorter sprints to minimize the risks that we looked at before. We make these decisions in the team together with the product owner, and we of course collaborate a lot with stakeholders and with the customers. So testing within the sprints and making sure the things that the team actually is delivering are the right things as well. So giving the team the responsibility of understanding customer value and how things actually are supposed to be working to create value for the customer. That's one really important thing as well, as of course understanding what actually are the best solutions, maybe technically, or whatever domain your team is working in. Because this could also be, as we said, this could be a leadership team, this could be an HR team, or it could be a marketing team. So you could be delivering and developing many things within a Scrum team. And we need the team to find the value, because what is valuable is usually different components that need to come in. So what are the things the customer and the business wants? What's sellable? what is usable, what are the things that actually create value for the customer, and how is it supposed to be working, and what is feasible, what are the things that makes this, whatever we're developing, actually possible to maybe take care and have maintenance on. Could be that we decide the quality for whatever we're doing is just a prototype. This is something we want to throw away. We don't build it so that we can make it stable and work forever and have all the security that might be needed if we created a real product. And then those are the decisions that the team can make together. So we need to have the capabilities and the mandate to make those decisions in the team. And Agile product planning, like we looked at a little bit before, these are maybe the two differences that we have within waterfall planning and Agile planning as well. In waterfall planning, we have something called iron triangle, where we have a fixed scope, fixed time, and fixed quality. And when this happens, most of the times the timeline gets stretched a lot, and people put in everything that they could figure out that they maybe would need in the future if something would happen. And this is usually not going to happen. And this is when we get low quality, because we cut somewhere in this to be able to deliver at the end. When working Agile, we know that people might not need everything that we thought in the beginning, and we want to keep time. We always deliver on time. We would deliver continuously, many times, right? And quality, we want to keep it to the right type of quality, and we make the team have ownership on that, so that we can actually also deliver something that could move from just a prototype to an existing product, and maybe an improved product with maybe more capabilities than we thought would be necessary in the beginning. And we cut the scope. So we cut down the different types of functions and features, and we might make them as easy as possible in the beginning, and then we might add on later on. So this is Agile product planning. And incremental initiative, as we thought about, maybe you have different layers within your product where you have maybe the interface facing for the customer, and you might move on to back-end stuff, and maybe different protocols or whatever could be down there. All these things need to be able to be developed by the team. So if a team works on different types of platforms, they should be have the capabilities to do so also in their team. So you might have different types of full stack and T-shaped developers or designers or content, people making content or whatever could be important in your product. And then we plan on different slices of this, because slice 1 will create value for the customer. Slice 2 will do that too, and slice 3. And of course, we could plan for slice 4 to be an improvement of slice 1 if we want. So we're thinking about just cutting through all the layers so that we actually create value for the customer. And to be agile, what is this? Of course, having an agile mindset. You might see a lot of organizations and teams that work with tools and processes. Sometimes when I coach a team, a new team, I ask them, what is Agile for you? What does it mean for you? They might tell me it's Jira, which is just a way to handle bugs or a system, software. So that might be what actually Agile is for them. But just having tools and processes and practices, this does not make you Agile. And it's might be more visible down here, because a lot of times also we see the teams having stand-ups, they have whiteboards, they have sticky notes, and they do some kind of a planning in there. But this could be applied also in command and control environments. And that type of leadership might not give you agility on strategic or tactical levels. And if you move up to the principles and values, here you always have to do, usually, structural changes in your organization, and you will create a culture change. So you change how you work, how you do things, and that will create changes, of course, in your culture. And if you move up to the mindset, you create a mindset within the individuals, the teams, the leadership, and the organization, you will move towards a learning organization. And the learning organization, you could say, is the goal for any organization that want to have the capacity and capability to always adapt for new type of challenges that comes from the outside or from the inside in the organization. This will create the most adaptable and VUCA robust organization that you could create. And this is very, very powerful, but of course less visible, because the culture and how we behave doesn't show as a sticky note on the wall. So think about these things. How can you move from tools and processes and practices? You could start there with your Scrum team, but you want to move up as quickly as possible to the principles and the values and the mindset, or maybe work on all of these at the same time and help teams to apply these agile values in their team, of course. And doing probe, sense, respond. If we have teams that have the psychological safety and they know where they're going to in this direction, they're maybe reaching a specific goal, then they can probe, sense, respond in their team and work continuously to understand new customer behaviors and apply maybe different solutions to different problems and test to see if they are reaching those goals, not having those details planned beforehand, but doing it along the way. This is something that helps you work in the complex domain, and it helps you adapt and develop new things, innovate solutions that maybe haven't been seen before. So what are the challenges adopting and making agile work in organizations? Of course, you've probably seen them yourself, some of them. And this is also from one of the Agile State reports, or State of Agile reports. And here you can see that organizational culture at odds with Agile values are at the top. So if we have a conflict in between different values, that's a very tough conflict to solve. But if we work with that continuously, and we talk about this, and we reflect on this, and we change our behaviors based on this, then we can help overcome this challenge. But this is the top challenge that most organizations have. And also resistance to change. So that usually happens a lot if you push change on people. But if you help them solve the problems, and if you bring everyone into a team, you will increase, of course, the understanding of why you're doing this, and you will make people feel safe. And you can bring them along the journey, and you can learn as you move along. So this, of course, helps to remove resistance as well. So what are the possible results? We've talked, maybe, or I've talked a little bit about that along the journey. Half the lead time. This is something that I can guarantee that you will get if you merge people from across the value stream or the process end to end into teams. Then you will, most of the times, maybe reach much better results even than this. But half the lead time, you can count on that, I can say. This is from all the transformations and the studies that's been done for the past 20 years using Scrum. So you can trust on this. And strategic flexibility. Of course, you can change the strategy in the organization, and these teams can take on new challenges, new problems to solve very quickly and very easily, because they have the capability and to do so, and they are a strong, mature team that can perform really, really well. And they only plan for 2 weeks. So you can always change the strategy, and you can have the teams pull new challenges. And you get innovation. We talked about that. So people can collaborate because they don't have to wait and book a meeting. People are not outside the team. You have the people in the team. You can make new decisions along the way, and you can find new ways and good ways of collaborating and showing what you're doing and what you're thinking, and throw away bad ideas really quickly instead of moving along and putting a lot of time and effort into them to show someone else. You can throw those bad ideas away really quickly. You don't have to document and spend a long time in this because you're not doing handovers either. So this creates a very innovative organization and environment. And increase quality. As you saw in a little test previously, you increase the quality when you focus, you increase the quality when you collaborate, and when people take responsibility, of course. So this creates higher quality across the organization if you work with Agile teams. It's fun. If you work in a team, if you've done that before, and if you have a shared goal, you know how fun it can be to actually help each other to reach this goal and to celebrate together. Even though you might have challenges along the way, you know that you're not by yourself having to face these challenges. You have your team and you feel safe. And awesome people. So some of the things that happens if you do a transformation, of course, usually they happens pretty much like this. So after around 6 months, you see an increased employee happiness, because if you belong to a team, you are usually 100% more satisfied. So you always increase employee happiness by bringing people just into a team. And after 1 year, if you create focus and you help people to collaborate, find new and better ways to collaborate and work together, and also you have a good product ownership in your organization, people who can decide on what actually value is, and you have the mandate, then you will get qualitative deliveries that actually deliver value to the customer, not just outcome, or not just output, sorry. So moving from the output thinking to the outcome thinking helps to create value for the customers and at higher speed. And then, of course, business growth will come with this, because you can adapt, you can change the plan, you can develop and deliver much more frequent value to the customer. And your employees want to take responsibility for what they're doing, and they want to help their customers, of course. And around 400% improvement from the teams, because you increase the speed of the teams by 200%, and you increase the value that these teams actually deliver by focusing on customer value continuously. So a 400% increased improvement of the organization is what you usually see if you work in Scrum. This is an example from the Swedish radio. This is one of the teams that I worked with, and who said it was okay to show them in the presentation, and they've been in many presentations now. So this is a very cross-functional team where you could see that there are different types of developers, there are designers. We have a product owner dedicated to this. A Scrum Master is also doing development work. We have 2 people or persons working with analytics. And we have a journalist in here. So they brought people from the organization, the journalists part of the organization, into the development team to understand what to deliver. And actually, I know that Simon, who's the product owner, he was in the call previously. Maybe he's still here. So really good to have you here. So this is an Agile team that was on a mission, and they doubled the listening time. Of course, that's marvelous to be able to do that, and they widened the audience with 50%. So this was really valuable deliveries from the teams, continuously understanding the customer needs and developing and delivering and measuring the result to increase the knowledge and understanding in their team as well, and collaborating with other teams in a way that really helped the organization also to move forward. So really exciting to work in a team like this. You can see also, this is a big team. It's not 9 people tops. These are more guys here. And of course, if you have a very good team and you have a good way of creating maturity in the team, and you have a really good product owner and Scrum Master, you can help to create a team that also could work in a really good way and become high performing, even though there are more people. So maybe you know that you can find free downloads on dandypeople.com. They're still there, and we're adding more always. And we also have a couple of trainings and activities that you can join. Here are a couple. So we have a 5-week Agile program that we just ended 1 or 2 weeks ago, where you join in with online facilitated trainings and workshops. And you get a lot of self-study content on our learning platform, and you join in with others to learn during 5 weeks. And Agile online training in a nutshell, where you can go and do self-studies by your own if you want to dig into more into Agile in a nutshell and understand more what it's about. And the Dandy Dojo, which is coming on November 11th, the first Dandy Dojo, where we will work together to understand and how to handle conflicts in a good way. and we will have new dojos every month. So you can join that anytime you want. And the next free webinar is product ownership in a nutshell, which you can sign up for free too if you want. So good, we're done. Pernilla, do we have any questions?
Let me see. So, oh, Simon is waving to everyone now. Now that we've seen his face that you shared with everyone. So what happened to your screen now, Mia?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to get back to all the faces, but I can't see you guys now. But yeah.
So no, I don't have any questions in the chat. So if someone wants to raise their hand, I guess Simon is raising his hand, or is he just saying hi? I don't know.
Hey, Simon.
Let's see if we.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm learning how Zoom works right now.
Yeah, I know that you have worked Agile for a long time.
Yeah, and I'm at the other side of the spectrum. I was the product owner before, now I'm sort of the team lead Agile coach, and working with one of my teams who are coming from a more traditional environment with more waterfall, high hierarchy approach, and trying to get them to work more T-shaped and being more cross-functional right now. We have started with the process part, so everybody is doing stand-ups and everybody is doing retro. But
Mechanical, yes?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Mechanical. You have to row before you can move the boat.
Yeah.
But my sense is that we are in the next threshold right now of moving from processes and upwards in the ladder. I guess from principles, I think is in the middle. What would be your experience? What are the best tools for moving the team into the next level of working Agile?
I think you should spend a lot of time with coaching them to become a high performing and mature team. So do team coaching and help them to understand how to overcome conflicts, which will come, and give them the guidance. And a lot of times if you do that and also help them to understand the core practices of Agile ways of working, if you're working in Scrum, the more people who understand how to do that work, the better the team can become. And then they will understand the antipatterns and the patterns and maybe be able to see them themselves. So maybe that's a good start.
Great, thanks for the advice.
And maybe if you are working in the same way too, they will. You can lead the way. They can see how you are doing. Maybe in your leadership team. That's maybe number one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really great.
Great advice. We'll start there.
Yeah, start there. That's good. So, did we have any more?
No, thank you, Simon. No, there are no other questions in the chat, but and we have just a few participants left. So I guess this is the time when you really have time to ask your questions to Mia. So take the chance now, you guys who are still here. I see Marika, Taufik. Let me see who else is here. But just take the chance now, you who are still here. See if anyone is brave enough to speak up. See. No, okay. So no one is brave on a Tuesday, I guess.
You can come back later if you have any questions. That's fine too.
As always. I'm gonna stop the recording now, and like you said in the beginning, Mia, we have recorded this, and we'll have this available for later sharing. So yeah.
And I'm actually on vacation.